10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?
Are you now? Or have you ever been?
What's wrong?
Prefix THX.
Buy more. Buy more now. Buy. And be happy.
Wanted to touch you so many times.
My mate has been acting very strange.
What's wrong?
Never mind. They're watching us now. I can feel it.
No one knows. No one can see us.
This is City Probe Scanner. We've run across some illegal sexual activity.
THX 1138.
Uh-oh, it's Bry 1138.
This is the thumbnail I should have gone with.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, I'm embiggen for a minute. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good golly Miss Molly. What happens when individuality is outlawed? Yes, you become a member of my panel. And you have to follow exactly my views to the letter. But no, just kidding. Welcome.
I just want my family back, you son of a bitch.
What family? Welcome to another science fiction classic retrospective today, close to its 55th anniversary. It's extremely close in that matter of days. We revisit George Lucas's 1971 masterpiece THX 1138, and the movie shows us a sterile, drugged-out underground world, a bit like this basement, where names are replaced by numbers, emotions are medicated away. Took me ages to write this. And love is the ultimate crime. It's not the answer, it's the ultimate crime. So Robert Duvall's THX 1138 begins as just another obedient worker drone, confessing his vague unease to a soothing electronic deity until a forbidden spark of feeling shatters the illusion of control. It's a raw, a minimalist, haunting movie that feels ever more prophetic in our age of surveillance screens and synthetic.
That's my biggest problem with a lot of these 70s dystopian sci-fi movies is a lot of it's coming true, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and it is so exactly, and it's very different from Star Wars. Although there are some, we're going to talk about this a lot, there are some things that are going between the two. So grab your meds, settle in, and let's explore why this cult classic gives me chills. And it does. And in addition, to begin, we will celebrate the life of the late, great Robert Duvall. Don't forget to like the stream, share it out, and get chatting. And many of you are already in the chat, and it's awesome to see you. I just want to immediately call out the great Snorter Pupus Q Bar. Welcome to the flock. He is indeed welcome to the flock. He is not a sheep. As long as you're not a goat, we're okay. If you were a goat, that would not be good. And so you have indeed, oh, here it is. You became a member, a large member of the channel. Thank you very much for that. As a result, you get the obligatory flock clip. So thank you, Snorty. You've been a big fan over the years, and we're a big fan of you too. So thank you very much, and welcome indeed, everybody else. Welcome to my panelists today, the very wonderful Joe's Atmosphere. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, man. This movie is, it's, if you've never watched it, a lot of your favorite science fiction is inspired by this movie. A lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
Including movies like Equilibrium, They Live. I saw a little bit of that in there. You know, there's a lot of movies were influenced by this. And you see actually stuff that's going to show up in George's ultimate opus,
Indeed.
Star Wars, eventually. So, yeah.
We will definitely
cool
talk.
stuff.
We'll definitely talk about shared themes, because as you mentioned, some that are very close.
But much like his job in his debut part in oh God, help me out, the Gregory Peck movie
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird, Duvall says a lot without saying anything in this movie. He really does.
He does.
He is one of the masters of being able to emote.
Especially when he's using that strange mechanical machine whilst watching the porn. But,
right.
So also welcome our dear friend, Pope Metallicus the First. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. And yeah, this movie is one of the most influential, I think, of any movies from that era, because like pretty much all of modern sci-fi traces back to either THX 1138 or Dune.
There's a lot of things come back to this movie, which the more I watched it this week, the more I thought I can just see so much of this here and there and there.
Well, that's what I got watching this last night. I was like,
hauling goats.
I was like, wait a minute, I know these tropes, but not from this.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sitting there watching it, and we just, I was telling them pregame that we just watched Equilibrium. This weekend on a watch party, and I'm sitting there going, Sense Offender! Sense Offender!
Yeah. Yep. Somebody said Equilibrium is THX 1138 with gun fu.
Yeah, that's it.
It's very similar in scope. We'll definitely want to get talking about that after we've kind of done our Robert Duvall stuff, which I wanted to start with. But welcome everybody in the chat. Obviously, we are on YouTube. We are all over to we're over in Rumble 2, where Vince is hanging out and keeping the fires alight there, and we're on X, which is looking nice. No chats there, but it looks good. We all look very shiny and happy on there. The drugs have obviously kicked in. And I was playing with, as I said, various images for this. I came up with this one, or AI came up with this one prompted, which I quite like. I might use this in future.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you do as many drugs as these people do in that movie.
No, I can't. The occasional Tylenol. And then this one was my favorite, I think.
Richard's level of drugs.
I do like this one. That is my favorite.
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
Definitely going to use that. AI generated, of course. Was there anything else intro-wise? No, I think we'll just go on with it. So we are gathered here today to, first of all, before we talk about this wonderful movie, to talk about Robert Duvall for a little while. One of, I think we would all probably agree, one of our favorite actors.
One of the all-time.
I mean, A lot of times we have actors that leave us too soon. This guy had a long, full life and left us with a lot of great memories. He really did.
Oh, God, yeah.
I put him up there with guys like John Wayne and Clint Eastwood as some of the best ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, Chuck Norris, not to offend Chuck.
No, I would agree with that. I think when you consider his career and the length of it and the breadth of it, the things that he did, he is up there with one of the all-time greats, I think, undeniably.
And especially given how many movies he was in, he has like over 100 credits to his name.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
And one of the only guys who's higher than him is Christopher Lee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think they ever did a film together, though.
I don't think so, but
which is interesting.
It's almost interesting that it hasn't happened, if it hasn't.
Yeah, if anybody knows that they did do one together, that'd be interesting. I know he worked with many other of our favourite actors over the years. In this movie, in THX, he's with Donald Pleasance, who's obviously a contemporary of Christopher Lee, and appeared with him in a number of things. So, yeah, Robert Duvall, I did want to just cover a little bit. We can talk a little bit about some of the best roles he did, and if I can get this damn window to... Sorry, the wrong window. There we go. Let's get this on the screen. He was a very small man at one point. Very tiny man. Born,
the great Santini.
That's right, the great Santini. Oh, actually, he was born in San Diego in 1931, son of Rear Admiral William Howard Duvall, which is why he was in San Diego, I guess. Was a PFC in the Army, but didn't make a career out of that. His father wanted him to join the Navy, but he didn't do that. And he said, people talked about, because he was in the early 50s, they said, oh, well, you must have served in Korea. He says, no, I could barely shoot a rifle. They could barely teach me to shoot a rifle. And then I was out. So, but he did serve. And he did a phenomenal amount of TV in the 60s. And then later he did a few very special TV shows. So and theatre, huge success in theatre in the 50s and 60s.
That I only read about after his death, that he was actually really into actual theatre production.
God, yeah.
Hollywood.
He'd appeared with a lot of really well-known guys on Broadway in New York and other places in theatre. So he was, he'd done all that before he even reached a movie. And of course, one of the earliest ones, we mentioned it already, he played Boo Radley in 1962 to Kill a Mockingbird, which...
no dialogue.
Years later, because I saw this as a kid, and then years later I thought, wait a minute, that was Robert Duvall. I didn't realise till years later that was him, because he wasn't a big star at this point yet.
Yeah. By the way, to answer your inquiry earlier, he never appeared in a movie with Christopher Lee.
What a missed opportunity.
Right? Damn it.
He did appear in a movie with Scottish football star Ali McCoist, so that's good enough.
There you go. Sure, we'll give you that one, Brian.
Almost the same thing. And we're going to show a little bit of the trailer for that movie I'm talking about. So then obviously he went on to do a ton of stuff, great stuff. This is True Grit, of course.
Yeah. I'd say that's bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
That's right, where he was a particularly effective bad guy and villain. Didn't end well for him, of course, but
no.
What can you say? Then he was in the original MASH movie as Frank Burns.
Yep. Not just any character. Frank Burns. The bad guy of the movie, if you will. If it had a bad guy, it's
the butt of every joke.
The butt of every joke. And the thing that differentiates the movie, because the movie is almost forgotten about because of the TV show, is that Frank Burns was not a nice guy in the movie.
No.
And he wasn't even a good surgeon.
No.
That's the thing in the show is like they portray him as kind of an asshole, but not a bad guy.
He's a good surgeon.
And a good surgeon.
Yeah,
and this an absolute bastard in the movie.
Yeah, a real arrogant fuckstick in the movie. Played so well by Duvall.
And was bad at his job.
Still, he got to kiss Hot Lips Houlihan. So.
Yeah. That's fair.
He must have been hung like a mule or something.
He must have been maybe hung like a goat. Then, of course, the movie we're going to talk about today at more length, THX 1138, which could be considered his first starring role in a movie.
I think it's the first time I know of he was the lead.
Yeah, and bald is beautiful. You know, the making of this is called Bald, the making of THX 1138.
Really?
It is. That's what it's called. There's a making of.
It's not surprising because all the girls are bald in it too.
Yeah.
They're shaven all over, I believe.
Yeah.
Then, of course, The Godfather.
Probably his signature
1,
role.
2, 3.
That's
Yes.
the one
Yeah.
that everybody remembers.
Yeah.
Tom Hagen.
Tom Hagen.
Consigliere.
And a very sympathetic role compared
yeah.
to some of the others. Yeah. Like a really guy you would want in your corner. A guy you could like.
And an actual good man in the worst possible profession.
In a bad business, but
In
a good
a bad
man.
business, he was a good man, no doubt.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in that series of movies is in the second one, where he's going to see the guy at the army base.
Oh, yeah.
That's in witness protection. I can't remember the name of the character, but he's already blown it. You know, he tried to out the family and it didn't work. And and they're talking about how they modeled their team to the Roman legions and what went on back then about how the families could keep their fortunes and all this other stuff. And I love that scene in that movie. I always thought that was one of the greatest scenes he was ever in. Yeah,
Frank
fantastic.
Pentangelli. Frank Petrogelli, as D. Bud Martin says.
Petro.
Even one of his other roles, Petrol Jelly, is rather fitting.
Yeah, it's
Pentangeli.
That's true.
Pentangeli's.
So, yeah, Immortal. An Immortal movie.
I love
The
this
first
fellow napalm in the morning.
That's right. And then we've got The Eagle Has Landed, which he wasn't as the main star of, but was very, very effective in.
Yes.
Great. I love that movie. So we're good to get tagged with Clint Eastwood in that one, which is good. And Richard Burton. I think
Imagine being part of that cast where,
right,
you know, like you're on stage with Clint
Burton
Eastwood and Robert Duvall.
And you
Richard
get to do
Burton.
one of Alistair McLean's best books ever.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Then his small but very chilling role in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is a movie I love, where he's tried to learn how to be human by copying the kids on the swing. That's hilarious.
Isn't that the beginning of the movie? I think
It is very beginning, and it's like something's not right here.
Yeah.
The Great Santini, of course. Well, we mentioned. I didn't have a picture. I don't have a picture, but we obviously Apocalypse Now. I do have a picture of it. Sorry, Apocalypse Now. Thought I'd missed that. I don't even know my own slides.
It's okay though. We're gonna get there.
Charlie don't surf.
Charlie doesn't surf, man.
Yeah. Did he actually just launch this operation just so he could surf? I can't remember.
Yes.
That was it,
yes.
yeah.
One of the guys that was going with Martin Sheen on the boat and everything. That they had to go down this river, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Pope. They needed to get down this river, but right at the mouth of it, they knew there was a big Kong access point, and they had to. And the guy mentions that beach gets really good peaks because he's a surfer, and this guy is too, and he freaks out when he says it. Oh shit, we'll take that place in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
Off they go, man.
Martin Sheen, he actually took a role off of Martin Sheen in one of my favorite movies of all time, Gods and Generals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gods
Sheen
and
had
Generals.
played Robert E. Lee in the first one.
Yeah.
And but he didn't want to come back for the second, so Robert Duvall did it, and apparently he's actually related to Robert E. Lee. His wife is Lee.
The clues in the name, Robert.
Well, here's the thing about this scene. Everybody remembers I love the smell of napalm in the morning line, smells like victory. They all remember that. But the thing that always got me about this scene is the last thing he says in it. And he looks at all of them and he goes, one day this war's going to end. And he doesn't sound happy about it. He sounds melancholy about it because he's not going to be able to do this kind of shit anymore.
That's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
He seems like one of those. He did a really great job of portraying a guy that needs to be under glass, and it says "break glass in case of warfare." You know what I mean?
Like this. I mean, the only problem I have is it's Air Cav rather than the Marine Corps because that's just how we are.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Cav. Yeah. So Canadian Spider-Man, our dear friend, has been to Da Nang and those Vietnam beaches. The thing is, you shouldn't have stormed up them 40 years later with a rifle. That was probably a bad idea. Too late. He surfed though.
Sometimes you're too soon. Now you're too late.
Yeah, obviously we have the Great Santini, which was did he get the Oscar for that? I think he did. I can't remember.
He was nominated. He did not win the
Nominated,
Oscar
yeah.
for this one. No.
Yeah.
He did not.
I mean,
he was nominated for several Oscars, but
Sure, I'm skipping a ton of movies here, but we can't talk about them all. But these are some of the,
we'd be here. We'd have to do 2 hours on
these
it.
are some of the highlights.
Yeah.
Then there's Tender Mercies, which is
That's
a great movie.
the one he won
Loved
the
it,
Academy
yeah.
Award for acting for. Right
Tender
there.
Mercies is a wonderful movie.
It is. It's fantastic. If you're a country music fan, you should love this one.
Oh, good, yeah.
Yep.
The Natural.
Yep, he's the sports reporter. I mean, the big at bat at the end of the movie, if you remember correctly. If you know anything about baseball, I think it's the second pitch. He hits it, and he hits a foul ball right back into the press box. Damn near kills this guy, and he looks down at him. And if you know anything about baseball, when they do that and it goes right back at him, behind him, he was on that pitch. He missed it by just a little bit, you know. And great scene, fantastic stuff.
He didn't miss it by much.
No, he ended up getting it. We all know that. But
then Lonesome Dove, which is one of my all-time favorites.
it's actually his favorite too. If you
Back
know
to
anything
TV.
about him and seen him in interviews, this was his favorite part that he ever played.
Awesome show.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome.
That's me and Brian if we were in the Old West. It's
Well, that's
Shut and
right.
Pray.
That's me now.
Yeah, right.
If I'm out the back with the dog.
Ho chasing the no bullshit guy.
It's not as sunny. So another one of my favorites is a shorter performance, but Sling Blade, where he played Billy Bob Thornton's dad, this vicious old fucker. God, he was chilling.
Bones got it right. First
he's
rule of
just an
baseball,
evil
there's
dude,
no
man.
crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball. That's
No.
right.
Either.
Sling Blade, Gone in 60 Seconds. So he did get to act with Nicolas Cage,
Yes, he did.
and Will Patton. There. So
I forgot he was in that, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a mechanic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's fucking awesome. I love that movie. That's a great movie.
Yep.
And one of my all-time favorites, A Shot at Glory, where he plays a Scottish football manager. We're going to play the trailer from this. If you've never heard him speak in a Scottish accent, you're going to love this trailer.
A movie nobody's seen but Brian.
But Brian, and I love it. Second-Hand Lines was a later major movie for him. Great
Mm-hmm.
movie. Great old actors. And Haley Joel Osment's pretty good too, I have to say. And one of these bigger later roles I've had, A Night in Old Mexico, where he gets the girl in the end, even though he's an old, dirty old gringo. So, good movie if you've never seen A Night in Old Mexico.
Yes.
Let's take a look at I'll probably get claimed to hell for this. The trailer for Robert Duvall's A Shot at Glory, set in Scotland.
In the small village of Kilnockie, not much
With
ever
Mark
changes.
Knopfler.
Try this new invention, Gordon, called a car.
But now,
It is, of course, the recent signing by Kilnockie of Jackie McQuillan.
Scotland's most notorious star soccer player
That's a
has
real
been
soccer
chosen
player,
to
Ali
boost the
McCoy.
town's struggling team.
This guy's going to give us the punch we need, Gordon, to make a run at a cup. Don't you want to win a cup?
Teams win the cup, Peter, not prima donnas.
Is that Michael Keaton?
Yes.
Brought enough pain to you. He's little Jackie's father.
I thought he was out of my life forever.
For God's sake, Dad, you don't have to be stupid.
It was me who had his daughter stolen from him.
Katie!
The truth is that Jackie and Dad are actually more alike than they are different.
Great go, Jackie.
You hear Mark Knopfler's guitar.
You say you want to get back
Yep.
together. You can't even pull yourself together.
We'll go only as far as our hearts and our lungs will carry us.
This is a real chance for Kilnockie.
Academy Award winner Robert Duvall, Michael Keaton, and introducing Ali McCoy.
They are all driven, stubborn, selfish, and as competitive as a pack
Since
of
your
street dogs.
dildo called her
That's probably
Ally
just the best
McMoist.
way.
Shot at glory, lads. All right? All right?
A Shot at Glory.
If you've never seen it, it's a wonderful underdog.
invention, eh?
Underdogs. Cole Hauser was in it too. Brian Cox. Wonderful underdog sports movie. If you've never seen it.
And music by Mark Knopfler.
Mark Knopfler.
Yeah, what a deal.
One of the
So it's a
greatest
really-
ever.
It's a
You didn't
hidden little
mention
treat.
his personal passion project. You didn't mention that one. The Apostle. And
The
if you've never
Apostle,
seen
yeah, I
that one,
skipped The
that
Apostle,
is
yeah.
that is a fantastic movie about one man's fight against himself, basically, and it's really, really good.
Yeah, No Sheep for the Wicked. That was the subtitle of that movie.
Kevin Costner and him in Open Range is another great
Open
Western.
Range, but his accent wasn't bad. You could tell he wasn't his natural accent, but he did a pretty good job of it, I have to say. And it was another little passion thing for him. He wanted to make that movie because he's got Scottish
I've always been
fans.
fascinated by that English and Scottish actors can do American accents very well, but Americans are famously bad at doing British accents.
Generally speaking, yes, they are. But so another thing about that, Ali McCoy's played for Glasgow Rangers, who I loathe and detest with every fibre of my being. And he saw him scoring an overhead kick goal. He did that against the team I support in a cup final. The rotten bastard. He scored an overhead kick. I hated him.
Which is like the hardest thing to do in soccer.
So anyway, if you've never seen that movie, check it out. It's a beautiful little movie with a great soundtrack as well. So R.I.P. Robert Duvall.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest actors of all time.
Yeah, he certainly was.
He's not the lead actor in a lot of movies, but supporting actor, you couldn't get any better than that guy right there.
Absolutely.
And the ones that he was a lead in, they were showered with Oscar nominations every time he was the lead guy.
Yeah.
And it culminated with Tender Mercies. And if you saw, when he passed away, I watched his Oscar acceptance speech, and it was so great to see somebody get up there and not be talking about himself. He was up there talking about the fact that the Man in Black and several other country artists endorsed what he was doing with that movie, that they really loved his performance in it, and that's what made him adore that part.
If you think about it, he's another one of these guys that raises the quality of anything he's in, even if it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah, even if it's not a great movie, he will sell out and give you the best performance he can get.
And even if he's not the main character, he raises the quality of the movie just by his presence.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not a NASCAR fan, but Days of Thunder I'd watch any day of the week because of that guy right there as the pit crew guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you say ASCAR? Sorry.
ASCAR, that's it.
Yeehaw NASCAR?
Yeah, we just dropped an N there.
Yes. Oh, we don't drop the N word.
We don't
here.
drop N's here? Okay.
Oh.
NASCAR.
No, we do not say NASCAR. NASCAR. It's how fast can you drive around in a circle all day? Yeah.
Dude, it's funny as hell in that movie, though, when Tom Cruise is having problems with the car, and he goes, well, coming in a minute. Wait on, we're eating ice cream. It's just too damn funny. They end up fighting in the pit and everything.
I think D-Buds just nailed it. NAPCAR.
NAPCAR. Go fast, turn left. Go fast, turn left.
He did sound like a humble guy. I never heard him get political or.
Well, he lived in Virginia.
He was a fairly conservative.
He was a horse guy. He's really
Actually, from what I understand, he lived pretty close to where I'm at.
Yeah, he's in Virginia,
out in Shenandoah.
So it's no coincidence that you moved there, and not long after Robert Duvall passes away.
I cannot be blamed for that.
Look, Pope just wants to be the only based guy on the East Coast. That's all
he does. He does.
I mean,
he's the last one.
I'm already the only rock and roll Ayatollah left.
He's the last one standing. So R.I.P. Robert, thanks for all the great movies, but we're going to talk about your starring performance today in an extremely prophetic science fiction movie. THX 1138, a movie that when I first saw it as a kid or a teenager back in the 70s, I thought, well, that was pretty dull. And now every time I watch it, it scares the shit out of me, and I think it's an absolute masterpiece.
I think it was made to scare the shit out of you. Yeah. This is really a tech horror movie. It really is.
Yeah, it absolutely is a scary movie, and I'm surprised at how prophetic it is, and also how exceptionally well made it was. Given it wasn't an indie movie, but it was pretty straight out the gate, close to that, So,
but I mean, that's to be expected from George Lucas. I mean, you have American Graffiti, Star Wars. His early career is fantastic, and that's before he even teamed up with Spielberg.
Yeah, and he's got the director's cut, which kind of polished up the rough edges a lot, and I don't mind it. The director's cut. Some people are purists and prefer the absolute minimalism of the original.
Well, you could tell the difference. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you can tell it.
But
But hey, if it enhances the movie, this I didn't mind. It's the stuff he did to the Star Wars that just makes me just want to just pull my hair out. Every time I watch Return of the Jedi and I hear Darth Vader go, "No!" I'm just like, are you serious? Really? We didn't need that.
We didn't. And I do think that I think the changes he made to this could be argued were beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And it still looks good. It was filmed beautifully, which is obviously you would expect from a guy with Lucas's background in USC and all that. So, but yeah, it's really a pivotal movie in a seminal movie in science fiction. I think now. I didn't think that years ago, but now I do after having repeated watchings and I really get it now.
Like I said, most modern sci-fi can be tracked back to either THX 1138 or Dune.
Yeah, and we have been joined by the man himself, I believe. George Lucas 77 is here.
Yes.
I would actually be, if it is the George Lucas, I would obviously be, check my Star Wars poster magazine on the wall back then. I would be, and I would be in my Imperial shuttle. I would be exceptionally thrilled and honoured, and I would probably never get over it. It'd be, but you would have made an old man very happy if that was true. But welcome anyway, George. Even if you're not the George Lucas, welcome anyway. It's so damn good to see you. So it was George Lucas's feature directorial debut and the first project of American Zoetrope.
Founded
Coppola's
by
company.
Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas.
So his commune for young, innovative filmmakers rebelling against the studio system. So the key timeline, of course, is that in 1967, George Lucas, who looks a bit like James Dean there, which is not something you would have said even a year later. It's weird.
Well,
what happened to him?
Watch American Graffiti. That's his love letter to cruising, right?
He was at USC School of Cinematic Arts, the famous USC School of Cinematic Arts. 23-year-old. This is what it looked like. It must have been hell.
Didn't Jim Morrison go to that school too?
I think
on
he
top
did.
of all these great directors that went there?
All the Spielbergs and co and all that. Because they had that. There was Coppola, Lucas, Spielberg, Brian De Palma, Frankenheimer.
There's a bunch of them went to school there. Yeah.
I'm going to miss a bunch, but they all had, Scorsese, they all had this new wave grouping going on. Some of them were at USC. Of course, that's very, very close to the University of Please Yourself, California, which is where this guy came from. Stanley J. Kramerhead III, Jr., who was involved with that group.
You're killing me.
So Stanley J. Kramerhead was involved with that group too. And this is what he had to say about this movie.
Look, it very simply, musicologically and ethnically, the Ruttles were essentially empirical melanges of a rhythmically radical.
But that's enough of that because we'll get So this was the people that were hanging out at USC. So he made a student movie, which you can actually watch on YouTube. The whole thing is on YouTube, 15 minutes long. The forerunner of THX 1138 called Electronic Labyrinth.
Yep.
Labyrinth. It's a hard word for a Scotsman to say. It's actually entitled Electronic Labyrinth THX 1138 4EB, which got a big prize at the National Student Film Festival, and it showed that he had some skills. You know, and obviously that caught the eye of many people, including Coppola. So they became buddies, partners, whatever you call it. So George Lucas, as we know, is an obscure guy who never went on to do anything else.
No.
But Francis Ford,
too much enough.
never heard of him again since.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just died, went away. Nobody's ever heard of him. But
Come on, bro.
But Coppola, he obviously had a little bit of a career. he was then in his late 20s, early 30s. This is in the late 1960s after Electronic Labyrinth. And he had a couple of studio successes himself. There's some of them collected together.
There's the Clan.
Some of the Clan.
Together.
Yeah,
Yep.
some of the Clan. They're all old men now, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's Crammerhead. So he had a big, not a big hit, but a reasonable hit with a movie called You're a Big Boy Now. Very sexually obsessed movie with quite a good cast, including Julie Harris. We're just being joined by Dr. Michael Jones. How are you, sir?
There's the doc.
Hello there.
This is your movie. You're a big boy now.
Really?
Big boy now.
Rip Torn.
Rip Torn, that's right. Yes, Rip Torn. Karen Black was in it. Geraldine Page. Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter, isn't it? Geraldine Page. And then he was making a movie, he made a movie called The Rain People, which Robert Duvall was a co-star in with James Caan and Shirley Knight. And based on that, he made a deal with Warner Brothers for American Zoetrope. Oh, yeah, I can't say it.
Zoetrope.
Zoetrope.
Yeah.
I keep calling it Zoetrope. I always have.
I think the Z is, excuse
The
me,
O
E
is silent.
first, I think.
Zoetrope, yeah.
Yeah.
So he made a deal with them because he wanted a studio that had creative freedom, and they made a 7-picture deal, minimal oversight. First movie was going to be THX 1138 with George Lucas writing and directing.
I can't unsee it because I just saw the poster real quick, and I just thought it said The Train People. It's like, oh, they were making movies about autism back then?
That's right.
Wow.
Indeed. So there's Duvall trying to figure out Shirley Knight's up for it. So Lucas, he was co-writing, directing, and editing, but he also wanted some help from other guys that were experienced in the business. So get this guy on board, Walter Murch. Murch is he co-wrote the movie, and he's a sound designer and editor mainly. He does fantastic sound, and the sound in this movie is great. Not the music, just the music, but the sound design is fantastic. And he did a lot of pioneering work in that area. Bit of a Renaissance man because he's directed as well. And he worked with Lucas and Coppola on Apocalypse Now, Godfather, American Graffiti, Conversation, and then
he's also the reason the audio company is called THX.
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Dolby company. Yeah,
it all comes from this movie.
This movie.
It's also why you hear Star Wars reference 1138 all the time.
Okay, right, yeah. I mean, right enough. Of course, the clue's in the name. So he won Oscars for things like The English Patient, which is some people's not favourite movie. Tom Connors doesn't like that one. And Ghost, he was involved with a bunch of stuff. But despite being a top-notch editor, weirdly enough, he didn't edit THX. Lucas himself did that. So, sorry, I'm just going to go back a bit. My narrative flow has been disturbed. There's a disturbance in the force. So, movie. So THX was the first and only film under that Zoetrope Warner deal. Don't know what happened to the others. They moved on from that deal after. Principal photography began September 22nd, 1969. Shot in Techniscope. Widescreen format. 35mm. 35 to 40 days shoot, wrapped in November 69. Lots of locations we're going to talk about later. Some of them are real. A lot of them are real places, filmed in natural light, and they look really, really fantastic. One in particular was reused for Gattaca, a very similar movie.
I was about to say that because a lot of the styling in Gattaca reminded me of this.
Yeah, and it's filmed in one of the same locations, which is something we'll talk about a little bit. So, editing through 1970, Warner Brothers didn't interfere too much. They cut a few bits and pieces, but nothing major, and it premiered theatrically March the 11th, 1971. That long ago. So March the 11th, 2 days from now, 55 years ago. So released March 11th. The budget is often cited as $777,777.777.
Just a lot of sevens.
A lot of sevens. Worldwide gross of around 2.43 million. It didn't have a big international release. It was mainly just US. Originally rated GP, which is now PG. I didn't know that PG was once GP. But the director's cut, which we're probably all more familiar with now, is rated R for nudity.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some boobs in it. Mixed reviews at the time. Indeed, mixed reviews at the time, but it has gained a cult following since for its dystopian view. And I would definitely agree with that. I believe it's, as I say, when I watched it at the time, well, not at the time, I'd say I probably saw it not till the late 70s. First time, I thought, well, that was fairly dull. Now I watch it and I think, my God, that's fantastic. So maturity does add a bit
and
of
scary.
perspective. And scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying because everything he predicted is coming true.
Yeah, well, indeed. So, yeah, it was longest director, slightly longer director's cut was re-released just after 1977, after Star Wars. But then in 2004, Lucas did a proper director's cut mainly with added CGI and putting back a little bit of the nudity. The CGI was used to make backdrops look bigger, crowds look bigger, more depth and stuff going on in the background, and a few effects and screens and stuff. I don't think they really changed the length that much of the movie. Didn't add a huge amount. But having not seen the original theatrical cut for a long time, I wouldn't be
Davina
sure.
Duckworth says every news item seems to confirm THX 1138.
It does.
You're not wrong.
Just in case, so we mentioned Electronic Labyrinth. The whole 15-minute thing is on YouTube if you want to see it. And that gives you an idea of what he did as a student movie. And you'll see a lot of the same stuff is still incorporated.
Yeah, I looked this up because it kind of came up in my research on this, and I watched it, and it's very similar.
It is. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and it's funny. We talk a lot about John Carpenter. He did the same thing when he was in film school with a movie called Dark Star. He made a short film that did really well, and when he became a director out of school, that was the first thing he did was make a feature length version of it. You know.
And we should point out that we did a wonderful stream on Dark Star. Everybody go back and check that out if you didn't see it at the time. So yeah, check out Electronic Labyrinth.
Movies you can watch.
So he did use, as you would expect, a lot of young, inexperienced crew, experimental, low-budget ethos, filmed on locations, wasn't filmed like a normal Hollywood movie. It was more independent guerrilla style, natural light, a lot of natural light use as opposed to heavily studio lit areas and so on. So
I do like that technique when it's used well.
Yeah. And one of the guys that he brought in to do the cinematography, there were two cinematographers, Albert Kuhn and David Myers. Myers here, he went on to make many music-related movies in later years, like Rust Never Sleeps. And he made the 1977, he was the cinematographer on the 1977, The Making of Star Wars. So he wasn't a cinematographer on Star Wars, but he did the making of it. So, which was a big deal in itself when that was viewed or shown. So he had a bit of a...
There's a reason pretty much after the first Star Wars that Industrial Light and Magic went from a tiny little prop house to like the special effects company for all of Hollywood.
Oh God, yeah, and that's where Lucas's true passion lies, I think.
Yeah, I mean, all of his movies have had great effects, but I think Star Wars was where it took it to a new level.
Yeah, sadly, the other cinematographer, Albert Kuhn, died in 1974, just not that long after this movie, so his career is a little bit shorter, but Myers has still got on to make some good stuff.
Another guy that's a lot like that, really into the technical side of making movies and innovating is Cameron. I mean, he's done so many things with the movies he's made. Like when he made The Abyss, he actually made something that divers use today, a faceplate. He just wanted to do it so you could get emotions out of the divers, but they've gone to a helmet like that now. Where they can see peripherally, while they're diving and stuff. Yeah.
Lucas did for special effects, Cameron has done for cinematography.
Yeah.
The way he shoots films has changed everything.
Yep.
Indeed. So back then, showing boobs would earn a PG rating. Now it's just a normal session of Congress. But if only Congress was that interesting.
I mean, if they were, I'd start watching C-SPAN a lot more.
At least tits are good for your blood pressure. Congress isn't.
I think you've got that backwards. Back then, tits were an R-rated thing. They didn't show up in PG-rated movies.
No, you had to watch British television for tits.
Yeah, you'd have to watch LPB and watch
Hill.
Benny Hill to see some boobs.
Snorty knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, over the years, that's the boobage ended up showing up in PG-rated movies. Yeah.
So that's the kind of, we're going to show a few of the actors that were involved in, as well. But that we mentioned a few of the themes of this movie. So. And it's prophetic. So drugs, use of drugs for compliance.
Mm-hmm.
Sense offender!
Sense offender! Something that's been done in many properties, right back to Brave New World. But this film, it was almost an art form, They had it down to a T. So today you'd be this SRIs and antidepressants and ADHD meds and the use of drugs to control everyone's emotions.
Not the right way to go.
I
think that's been proven at this point.
The really creepy part is that this movie came out not that long after MK Ultra started in the late 60s.
Yeah,
using drugs to program people.
Exactly.
Hey, Brian.
I mean, I'm not saying all of them are bad for you, but if a professional is dealing with you on an emotional level and prescribing something to keep you level, that's great. But they try and kill too much with drugs a lot of the times these days.
And we're seeing the drawbacks. Michael, my friend.
Have you heard of an author named Yuval Noah Harari?
I've heard of him.
He was kind of an assistant to Klaus Schwab, and he was interviewed a couple of years ago.
Oh, I know who you mean. Yeah.
And they're like, what is the future of the human race? And he said, because of AI. It's like drugs and computer games.
Yeah, and we're seeing that. And this movie had elements of that. Well,
hey, at least it's the Matrix and not I have no mouth and I must scream.
That's true.
I mean, if you look at it from like a practical perspective, right? Like with AI and jobs being taken away, okay, and you like a shift in whatever this fourth industrial revolution is, they're going to need people on drugs to pass the time. As work, you have universal income. That's what they want. What are people going to do? And that's where I think if the wrong people are in power, because the right people are in power now, the wrong people are in power in the United States, you're going to see that increase.
Well,
and
tremendously.
Also without, jobs and stuff like that, human beings lose all sense of purpose.
Yeah, that's why the drugs are there.
Destroys us.
Yeah, that's why they're gonna,
Well, this movie really explores that deeply,
and I think you're gonna start seeing that in like Canada, UK, and like Australia. You're gonna see a push for those recreational drugs. Why do you think marijuana has been legalized?
For pontificates of what happens once that happens. Like, what will society look like?
Well, would you, as a member, so this movie would pose the question: would you, as a member of that society, just take the drugs to conform and stay happy and make your lot more bearable? Would you? I mean, that would be an individual. Eventually, now you see the kids in this have got the things strapped to their arms and the drugs are getting fed to them. But if you had a choice, would you say, screw it, I'm not going to fight it, I'll just do it?
Well, that's the question is, what has to happen for people to opt into a system like this?
You take away their will to live. I mean, you take away their job. You take away the pride of having a job. You take away the pride of having a family. I mean,
well, interestingly, people do have a job in this movie. They have a job. Robert Duvall has a job. It seems to me
as a matter
like
of fact, he can't even, and his performance suffers if he doesn't take certain drugs.
It seems to me it's a job that could be done by a robot. Why is he making robots when that job could be done by robots?
Why this was 55 years ago.
Why have they got all these people doing that work? Wouldn't they just get rid of them?
Well, I mean, when you look at it, back in the 70s, robotics was still in its infancy.
Yeah.
So they had no idea how advanced they could become.
Yeah, I definitely want to explore more of these as we're walking through the stills, which we'll do soon. Let's just hit all those issues, because I think this movie is captured. I mean, there's the surveillance system, which to me in this movie doesn't strike me as being some centrally led authoritarianism. It just seems to be something that has developed that everybody's bought into.
Oh no, they're monitoring everybody.
Yeah, but who's
they're watching everybody?
Because there's who's above them that's monitoring them. You don't really see that. You just see.
Yeah, but you hear them. You hear them when they're playing. Remember when they? Well, we'll get to it when we get there.
No, but these are the themes that this movie brings up as well. I mean, you've got conformity.
There was a comment earlier in chat. I think it was Davina, but I'm not sure who. That said this movie is kind of a mix of Brave New World and 1984.
Yeah.
Yes, it's got a ton of those elements.
The worst possible future.
The worst possible future. But at least they had free drugs.
I would say I would say the society is a continuation of the society in Rollerball 300 years later.
And Rollerball is a movie we're definitely going to tackle.
You know, think about it. You probably have a hidden elite somewhere, basically pulling the strings, and everybody else is like Elysium. You know,
Elysium. Yeah, I do have a few
up in the
thoughts
clouds or in another planet or whatever.
Yeah, I do have a few thoughts on that, about the world that was created in that movie and its relationship to what possibly the wider world that we don't see in it.
Right.
But anyway, just to hit the cast that are in this before we really dive into that in depth. The Robert Duvall, obviously we mentioned, he plays THX 1138. So 1138 is his number, and he's a THX. So that's the way it's written. He's Unit 1138 of the THXs. The protagonist, the title character, he's a skilled but emotionally numb factory worker. And this is what I wondered, why did they need factory workers when they've got all this machinery and robots and computers? And he assembles android police officers, which is ironic because they're the ones that then subdue everybody. He's very compliant and drugged at the beginning, but he starts to awaken to some real feelings, which upsets him at first. And then he's turned into a rebel. I don't think he's a rebel with a cause. He's just a rebel as in, I'm going to get out of here. So he's not really a kind of a, let's rally the troops. And
my question is this to you, though. Did he start laying off the drugs, or did his...
She did it to him.
Yeah, she did it to him.
She tampered with his drugs.
He's an unwitting
he doesn't
rebel.
understand it. He says, I'm taking the drugs, it doesn't seem strong enough. Think of Equilibrium again.
Right?
Yeah.
Same scenario. Yeah.
Well, in a lot of ways, Equilibrium is kind of a remake of this.
With guns.
Very close. With guns and kick-ass martial arts.
With John Woo style cinematography and guns, but...
If this film had Sean Bean dying in it, perfect.
Right?
So Duvall puts in a phenomenal performance in this. Starts and
once again with very little dialogue.
Yeah,
very little. Dialogue.
You know what? I feel this movie was inspired by Metropolis.
There's a ton of Metropolis in it.
Because I mean, you don't see. That's the thing. We were talking about the elite. You see, the guy moving the clock in Metropolis. I mean, this is basically. But you don't see the elite in this movie. But it basically has the same...
Sorry, EC, I've got to highlight EC's comment here. Every time he sees George Lucas, he thinks for a second he's an extra in Planet of the Apes.
Right? Yeah, he looks like he's a hairy dude.
He looks like one of the shell people in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was a good-looking guy 4 years before. What happened?
Right? He was James Dean almost. Yeah. What happened? He turned into Encino Man.
Yeah. So we don't need to talk about Duvall's career because we just talked about Donald Pleasance, which is a bit of a coup getting in a low budget to get Donald Pleasance to be play a major part in this.
I mean, he was in The Puma Man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that movie. Has anybody seen The Puma Man?
I've heard of it. He would do anything for money. He's one of these British jobbing actors.
Somebody in the chat, have you seen The Puma Man?
No.
All right.
So tell us about The Puma Man.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
It's a MST ripped film. It's an Italian 1980 superhero film.
They all did that. Christopher Lee did Italian movies,
right? And it's basically this guy who this
the
Aztec comes and guides them through, and he finds his superpowers, but he can't fly. It's horrible. But the guy wound up being this like really hotshot attorney. The actor wound up being this like really hotshot attorney in New York, but it's the Puma Man. It's an MST classic, you know.
Cool. Oh, he made hundreds of movies. So he plays Sen 5421, who is a manipulative, scheming co-worker and fellow inmate who becomes obsessed with THX. He is kind of creepily obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Jealous of the girl.
Yeah, I got that out of that performance.
I told you what I thought pregame, man. He seemed like the little chihuahua running around the bulldog. Saying, what are we going to do today, George?
He's a little shit disturber.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
He reports them to the authorities, but later on joins THX in prison, or whatever you would call that white void, and then escapes.
I thought it would. You know what I thought? I thought that's the insane asylum. That's where they're sticking the insane people. That's what I thought.
Something like that. And they are all anomalies, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His name hints at sin, apparently. But anyway, celebrated and beloved British actor from roles like The Great Escape. He was a genuine RAF bomber crew who was shot down over Germany and went to a prisoner of war camp. So he knew what he was talking about when he was in The Great Escape. He had lived it.
In fact, he might have actually been in
that
the camp they were talking about.
Possibly. It's funny because John Sturges, who directed The Great Escape, Donald Pleasance said, I think I could help you out with a few details on this. And the director said, it's okay, I don't want the opinion of an actor. I don't need it. Thank you very much. And then, what was the American guy that he teamed up with in the movie in The Escape? Rockford Files. James Garner said, I think you should listen to this guy because he was actually in a prisoner of war camp.
It's like that's not the opinion of an actor. It's the opinion of a POW.
Of a POW, and so he took him on then as a technical consultant as well as acting. But Garner had to tell him.
It reminds me of the story Peter Jackson likes to tell about Christopher Lee when he's kind of trying to direct him on Saruman getting stabbed in the back. And Christopher Lee just turns around and goes, Peter, that is not how a man being stabbed sounds.
Yeah, and he should know, being in the special forces. So Donald Pleasance, the Italian stallion.
And possibly the most British named unit I've ever heard of, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah. So here he is as Blofeld in You Only Live Twice, I think it was. There's a man who knew where his pussy was at all times. And he was married 4 times in real life, so he must have
had a pretty
That's why they call it acting.
Acting, dear boy.
He didn't know where they were in real life, but he knows where this one is at all.
So, and then Halloween, of course, was another. I focus on the genre stuff because that's
my personal favorite movie of his
Loomis,
ever.
Yeah.
John Carpenter classic.
He's
put
great
him on the
in
map.
He's
Awesome.
great in Halloween. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
The female lead, Maggie McComey, strange name, Lou, Luh 3417. She is the assigned female roommate stroke mate. He does describe her as mate at one point in the system that they're in. But she's the one that secretly stops taking and stops him or changes his drugs or substitutes them. Because she's obviously wanting to break free of this and she's trying to help him do that. And it immediately does spark a intimacy between them and he kind of wakes up and becomes human again. Her name evokes love. Luh. Lou, yes. So Maggie McComey, who genuinely, like the rest of the cast, had to have her hair cut off for the part. Here is the deed actually being done.
And that's a shame. She's beautiful.
She's got great hair. She's beautiful hair. She stepped back from film work after, not long after this. I guess she maybe had kids. I don't know. but returned to the screen in 2006 and just does little small bit parts and things, still working today. She never did anything else of anything major. Donald Pleasance knew to stroke a pussy.
Snorty, that's a good one.
Ministry of Silly Walks, because that's what the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare became. This guy is incredible. Don Pedro Colley.
Yeah.
SRT 5752. Genuine high school and college football and track and field guy. He's a big unit.
They're doing the reverse Sorio.
I mean, when you look
yes,
at
they are reverse Sorio.
when you look at them next to each other, I mean, Donald Pleasance and Robert Duvall are not short people.
No, Duvall's not short,
and he's a full head taller than them.
Yeah, he's a big unit. It's hilarious. What was his character? SRT 5752, who is a hologram. And like
is he a hologram though?
Is he? Because he can actually touch him and do things to him.
He's eating.
He could be in Star Trek Leering Academy. So is he a hologram? He says he's a hologram.
Says he's a hologram, but then again, I told you they found him in what looks to be the loony bin.
Because he's
also he's solid, which shouldn't be a thing for.
He's eating, guys, and he says he's a hologram. Come on.
He says he's hungry and he wants to eat.
Holograms can't interact with our world. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
but he provides
a hologram and a holograph is solid.
Yeah, so it provides somewhat of a comic relief and commentary on this world. I mean, this whole sequence is funny because we came from there. There's no door. He goes, no, look closer.
Look closer.
Yeah. Actually, this whole scene has got one of my funniest, one of the few funny moments in the movie. And I'm going to play it now before I forget.
Fine, it will know it when we see it. I'll know it when I see it. Clear and straightforward and plain as the nose on your face.
I love that.
Get you some. I was so glad when I saw that. I was like, well, somebody please shut him up.
Yeah, it's true. Arnold Rimmer could touch things in Red Dwarf. That's true.
And I really enjoyed that part of the movie too, because like you say, it's just like everyone's screaming at the screen, like, could somebody please shut him up? And then he just belts him right across the mouth.
Belts him in the face. And he mentions nose bang. Sorry, yes. So this is Don Pedro Colley. He had a very long, mainly television career right from the 60s. His athletic career didn't work out, but moved into TV and acting. He was also in Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, yeah.
He was Oregon? Not Oregon. Oregoni. I can never remember the name of the character.
Oh, shit. I know.
Oregon or...
Peels his face back.
Ongaro.
Remember, it was the albino, or they had no pigment.
That's right.
Masks.
Yeah.
Telekinetic monsters.
That's the one. It's Ongaro. Sorry. So Beneath the Planet of the Apes. The one that Charlton Heston gets a name credit for, and he's only in like 2 minutes.
Well, he presses the button. He
does press the button, and so he should. I would have pressed it too. But yeah, so he was also in, before we talk about this, if you look up Don Pedro Colley's career, he was in some blaxploitation movies along with Fred Williamson. He starred with him, one of which we cannot say the title of on YouTube.
Yep.
And it's that N-word again. I don't think it's a movie you'll see on television anytime soon. So he was in...
You have to say it right, though, Brian. It's that goddamn N-word again.
It's that goddamn N-word. And he was in this movie with the N-word in the title. We cannot mention it or even show the poster. But then he had a recurring role, which I remember very much from back in the day, as Sheriff Ed Little, on The Dukes of Hazzard, where he was he was a bit of a unit in that too. He was damn good. So he did all right, He had a career. The last guy I really wanted to call out in detail is this guy, Ian Wolfe, who plays the PTO is his character name. That's all you get. He's the elderly prisoner in that White Void asylum, who is offering a lot of unbidden wisdom about the futility of resistance in the system. And so on, and coming out with lots of pithy comments, usually around, forget it, you're all screwed. He's a very interesting guy, a veteran American actor who could actually do English accents. We were talking about that earlier. He was so good at doing English accents, he appeared in a number of Sherlock Holmes movies in the Basil Rathbone era, usually as the commissioner.
This guy, and I didn't realize he wasn't English.
And he's not English, but he could do an English accent, so you get a lot of work from that. And for us genre fans who love our genre movie stuff, he was in 2 different Star Trek TOS episodes. Septimus in Bread and Circuses. Short for Stilda wants me to show the poster.
That was the Spartacus episode, right? Where they're all slaves.
Yeah, that's right. And then he was in the penultimate ever episode, I think it was, All Our Yesterdays as Mr. Atos, one of the best 3rd season episodes. So.
Yeah, I think that was the second to last episode they ever made.
Yeah, and he was great in both of them. So, so there you go. He had a
he got
long
to work with Lucas and Gene Roddenberry.
That's right.
So he worked with both of the
He was in both
modern science fiction.
Yeah, I think that's pretty neat. And he was in hundreds of movies. He did a long career from the 40s onwards. So he managed to get, if you're going to do a low budget movie, you can get a guy like that. They're always going to do you a solid performance. Yeah, Johnny Weissmuller Jr., Tarzan's son, was in This Is One of the Robots. That is true.
Yeah, I saw his name in the credits at the beginning of it, because that's how old this movie is. All the credits are at the beginning of the movie. Yeah.
He was one of the android police, I think, robots. This guy, David Ogden Steers, was one of the voices of the computers or control voices. Wow. You hear. He did some of the voiceovers. Obviously, he went on to be in MASH.
Another MASH connection. Huh?
Another MASH connection in 1977. And obviously we mentioned Johnny Weissmuller Jr. Some of the extras in the White Asylum scene were actual real recovering drug addicts who had authentic shaved heads and dazed looks and rambling about.
Although can I just say real quick, while we're mentioning MASH, I think it's fucking hilarious that the series MASH lasted longer than the Korean War did.
I know. This is war ever going to end. Yeah, the music was by Lalo Schifrin, and it's a pretty damn good soundtrack. But obviously, Schifrin did a million great things in Mission Impossible, tons of other great stuff.
Yeah,
and he did a pretty damn good job in this, coupled with the sound mixing and sound effects done by Walter Murch. So. It's a pretty effective audio on this. Very effective.
Unfortunately for the people who did the music on this one, on his next attempt, he would pair up with John Williams.
Yes,
he is the most brilliant composer of this century.
Obviously, recognizing very rightly that music is a major component to how good a movie is. So we had a Winchester. Sorry, he's right. So we had a Winchester and a Burns in this movie.
That's true, yeah.
We had a Winchester and a Burns, so that's pretty cool. So
both the third wheels, right?
For some reason, for 30 years of my life, I thought Lalo Schifrin was a black guy. Turns out he's Argentinian. I didn't realize that until later. There was no internet in the early days. But he's Argentinian.
Well, that's the thing back then is, unless you saw a picture of them, how would you know?
How would you know? Locations. Location. Just not to overdo the whole locations thing, but the movie locations database, this is the one that you see in, it's not a very big picture, unfortunately, in both this movie and Gattaca.
This is where I think I got that comparison from,
it's the
I remember
same
this shot
building.
in Gattaca.
It's the Marin County Civic Center in San Rafael.
Okay.
So that's the same building. Also, you see in here the early BART system in San Francisco, empty tunnels before they completed it.
Yeah.
There's a couple of Frank Lloyd Wright houses. There's Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. All real
Livermore
places.
Labs up there.
San Francisco International Airport.
Which is weird. I lived in California for 4 years, and I've never been to San Francisco.
You lucky bastard.
I lived there for 3 months.
Does it still exist?
The I want to say winter of '86 from January. No, I think February through April that year, and I actually got to see them filming The Voyage Home. I saw the cast of Star Trek at an intersection filming that scene where they're doling out the money. We were on a mission. I was on an honor guard, dress blues and all that stuff. We were doing military funerals up and down the West Coast, and we were driving through downtown, and we actually saw them filming that scene as we were driving by. It was pretty
good for
cool.
you, mate. Nice.
Yep.
So lots of great locations in this, used to very great effect. I think the movie, the Electric Labyrinth, was set in 2187. I don't think it's mentioned in THX, the full movie, but the short movie mentioned the year 2187. I may be wrong. It may be in THX. So it's meant to be 2187.
I got to ask a question since the visual is there, though. It threw me off watching it again. What is up with the pimp/safari hats those guys are wearing?
They're wearing pimp hats.
What is up with that?
I saw that too. They got the floppy pimp hats.
They've got them. There's a couple of scenes where you see them, and they look like tech guys. They're working on a bunch of shit, but you only see them a couple of times in the movie. But I'm wondering what the hell's up with that.
Maybe they were real tech guys, and that's what they wore. So they used in the movie an IBM System 360. Plays the city's computer.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about budget a lot. That's another aspect of this movie.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Economic.
You want to talk about tie-ins to future things that were inspired by it? I mean, they live. The tech of they're worried about how much it's going to cost, how much money are we going to make. They want you to consume. It's pretty obvious they've got a damn an economy they're trying to fuel there. It's pretty crazy.
So the System 360 was a popular series of mainframe computers produced by IBM between 64 and the late 70s. Its success was perhaps due to sharing the same architecture between all models so you could upgrade in confidence. So you'd add a second warehouse to house the upgrade. And it was the same as the first warehouse. But used in lots of movies, apparently. See, this looks like Keith Emerson's Moog.
I've always loved the story my dad told because he went to school in 1970 for computer engineering. Technically electrical engineering, because even Northeastern University in Boston didn't have a computer engineering degree yet. And they had one of the most advanced computers around, and it was the size of a small closet.
Yeah.
And he learned to read binary because you had to organize your punch cards that you fed into the machine.
That's right, yeah.
In the correct order, and you needed to be able to read them if you wanted to get them right and drop them.
See, one wrong hole in a punch card and you could destroy the entire Earth.
Pretty much.
Look at the movies this has been used in, tons of them. Charlie, anybody remember Charlie? Cliff Robertson movie? Charlie.
It was based off of a book called Flowers for Algernon.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
I've seen the movie Flowers for Algernon. I have not seen Charlie, though.
Charlie's good, yeah.
You become a genius and then
it just goes away again. They used that same thing in that John Travolta movie, Phenomenon. Same idea. Anyway, that's the computer they use. Also, there's a number of cars used in it, which I found interesting.
Yeah, they're at the end of it.
Bikes and cars. There's a Lola, which Don Pedro Colley. That's again the joke, the comic relief. You can't get in the bloody thing, and then when he does, he drives it into a post because he doesn't know how to drive. See, they could have cast a woman in that role.
Would have been too believable.
Oh, I'm gonna get what the hell for that. But Triumph Bonneville bikes, which are beautiful. So there are a few vehicles, but there's some made-up ones as well that they just kind of. But I also found that part of it interesting, that this is a world with a large amount of vehicles in it. Who's using them and where are they going?
Yeah.
So Snorty's asking the relevant question: did you run into a Scottish MP captain at the Presidio who can disable you with his thumb?
And no, didn't run into him. That movie came out well after I was gone, I think. Yeah. Pretty sure.
Anyway, slide that in the stream. So let's throw up some let's throw up the slides and then we can just chat about anything we want to do with this
By
movie.
the way, if you're interested in what the 15-minute city is going to look like, watch this movie.
This.
Yep.
It's going to look like this, except worse.
Also, brief mention, since you mentioned being, real military units in movies. One of the reasons I actually love Battle of Los Angeles is because some of the guys, they're from, in the movie, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually got a lot of the extras from 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, because they're right there in Camp Pendleton, so it's not a far hop.
Well, they filmed that movie, buddy. They filmed that movie right here in Shreveport, Louisiana. I don't know if you know that or not.
No, I knew that, but they actually got some guys from 3-5.
Oh, I can believe it. Yeah.
Actually go and train the actors, which must have been a very traumatic experience for the actors dealing with actual Marines.
So we're opening the movie with this Buck Rogers.
Yeah, I found that interesting. There's a Buck Rogers ad at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Which actually also speaks kind of to Metropolis because it's a similar looking city on the screen. Buck Rogers had that Metropolis look to some of it.
Yeah.
This is what
Also shows you his love of cereals, though, too. Because
indeed, and because he wanted to make Buck Rogers.
Right. He wanted to make that one, and he ended up making Star Wars. We all know the story there. But really, Indiana Jones was something that him and Spielberg worked together.
Yeah, it was Flash Gordon, because we brought that up when we
That's
did
right, Flash Gordon.
Was it Flash? Oh. Is that what you're trying to say?
It was indeed.
You mean this Flash Gordon?
Flash, I love you, but we only have 14 hours to save the Earth.
Oh, man.
You mean that Flash Gordon?
No pressure, girl.
Is there any other Flash Gordon?
No. So he started the movie with the credits rolling up. So I guess that precedes the
the scroll, right, from Star Wars.
Yeah, that became his thing.
Yeah. And you're pretty much straight into the. Well, this is funny with the
wow.
And I love that the android police are showing them their batons, their stun batons or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you want to hold it? This kind of thing. It could be an allegory. It's Hollywood after all. I don't know. So there's some pretty good visuals here.
Yep.
This is where they're making the androids. And again, why wouldn't you just make the thing fully automated instead of relying on people who, if they drop this thing, you're going to nuke the whole place?
Right. We see that happen during the show, right?
Yeah.
Seems a bit of a flaw in the system.
Now, one question I don't think gets answered in this movie: are these people created naturally, or are they made?
Great point, because I wanted to talk about that. So at some point, they refer to THX 113 as a non-natural.
Yeah.
So it's a mix.
So that implies that there are artificially created humans, or at the very least artificial wombs.
So it's like the clans in BattleTech, where some of them are naturally born and some of them are.
Yes, that's what that implied. They don't go into it in any detail, but if you think about it, there are people watching these people, and then there are people doing the work. Is this?
I don't think it's clone tech, though. I think they put that scene in there where he's basically, feeding the ducks. And getting milked, basically, if you remember, right? Yeah. And so they probably create them, that way.
Well, the test tube babies or something.
I don't think they're clones. I think that they're
test tube babies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there's Maggie McComb. She's one of the Watchers. Now, are the Watchers real humans born to actual natural parents? Because there's a distinction. They say non-natural. That means there's natural.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he's not one of them. Sorry, Michael.
Remember that video that went viral about a year ago? It was fake, but it was showing how you could develop a baby without a womb. There was like it was like a room, and they had like 200 little pods, and they're like, "This is the future of childbirth," and everybody went ape shit about it. Do you remember that?
I do, and even though that was fake, it is something they've been working on for a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, fucking terrifying.
It is. Brave New World, they control the oxygen and make some people smart and some people tards, you know.
Yeah.
So
we've
we've got
not even just for that reason. It's just if you can manufacture people, what psychology would that person even have? I mean, most of all of us grew up with parents that presumably loved us,
right,
and raised us.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to go off on a huge aside, Brian, but I actually have another point to make. It's interesting how in this society, you know, you're talking about like test tube babies and whatnot, but even in our modern society, there are things, whether it's food or lighting, that cause I guess a developmental decline or like a slowing down of mental capacities, even in adults. So you see how society, it's not just birth, society throughout your life is trying to make you stupid. I don't know. That's just a thought, random thought. Run with it.
I mean, that's worthy of exploration somewhere else.
Have we been getting controlled for years by various things in our environment?
I would say yes.
Decline of, the rise of sterility and inability to reproduce, the decline of that potency, that kind of thing. So the Pope needs to pontificate on this one day, I think.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm writing these ideas
this
down
Pope.
and we will talk about them.
But that's a great point, Michael. Yeah. So, but in this part of the movie, they've already introduced a whole bunch of things. Everyone's dressed in white. It's very sterile. There's a lot of control, a lot of people watching people and directing them. They've got the constant voiceovers, you know, be safe, be happy, whatever. Consume.
The worst part is why it's white.
Well,
because
sterility.
No, not sterility. It's because it removes all depth of field from your view.
There is that, yeah.
Consumption. And it actually physically pains your eyes. I say this as someone who is experienced snow blindness more than once.
I've experienced slow blindness.
It's
I'm just so slow.
Fucking terrible. It actually makes your eyes water.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's fucking awful, and you can't see anything. And it's one of the worst experiences you can have because humans' primary sense is sight. So
you
when
need
we
depth
can't
of vision,
see, especially when we can't judge distance, it's horrible for your psychology.
It is.
It reminds me of a Star Trek episode too, the Return of the Acrons.
Yep.
Landru. Some things. Anyways.
Yep. So they've already introduced a bunch of things here. It's very cleverly written, the way they use the voiceovers and the messages on the from above, from God, I guess. The consumption is being standardized. The rig on consumption in this standardized consumption, economic efficiency, etc., etc. All these things have been brought in just by a few minutes of illegal. Not taking your drugs is illegal, or not taking the right drugs. Illegal sexual activity, which is obviously people doing it together, not doing it separately, controlled by the machines.
Here's the accident that blows one of the production facilities apart.
Right, it's great. And it does say we've only lost 195 workers this period.
They're putting a positive spin on everything. Everything's fine. Don't leave your workstations. Everything's fine.
There's no danger radio.
I think the most chilling about this movie is this is what it's like if you strip the humanity away from someone.
Yeah.
And
oh God, yeah.
It's just horrible. It's the worst thing you could possibly do to someone.
It's equity, diversity, and inclusion, my friends.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but it's also completely inhuman.
But it's also a commentary on what was becoming then the sterility of the corporate lifestyle. You go to work, you sit in your cubicle, you prompt, stamp, bump, stamp, bump. This is pre-computer for most people too. And at the end of your shift, you consume a piece of whatever, and at the end of your shift, you go home. And it's like, that's a sterile, conforming life too. where people above you in the court, you're a big corporate ladder. Oh, you do this, you do this, you do this.
And the word that comes to mind, even though I'm not a religious man, is soulless.
Yeah. It says
There's
soulless.
There's nothing behind what
They've
there's no
removed the
purpose.
humanity.
They're just doing what they're doing.
They're just robots, androids. The androids have got more personality than some of the people in this.
And
no doubt.
Like, that's the thing, is the humans have been stripped of their humanity.
I like this. A libido leveler has been mislaid. Some long-suffering wife has taken it and is going to give it to her husband.
Uh-oh.
A libido leveler. But yeah, these things are all in here, and we're seeing them all in our modern society.
Yeah, you remember when talking about clothing? You know, the World Economic Forum was.
This is
hold on, Mike. Sorry, Pope. Let Michael finish that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, man.
So, do you remember the World Economic Forum a year ago? You know, you were talking about like the white uniforms. They were like, you know, people only need 2 or 3 items of clothing per year. You know, it's at what point does this climate change grift go, well, you only need 1 outfit, or we all have to kind of like live in this Logan's Run little society because you know, these 15-minute cities, if you know what that is, and you can't leave because, you know, climate change. That's where I've seen it kind of headed.
That's another movie we need to do at some point, is Logan's Run.
We do.
Some
need
similarities, you know.
Especially if we can get Jenny Agutter in a skimpy clothing.
Right. This scene right here is really creepy, because this is the therapist for the entire world, right?
No, this is his own digital Jesus.
Right, but it's the same face that everybody talks to. And you get the very distinct feeling that thing's not even listening to him.
It's not.
It's just responding automatically every once in a while.
You. That sounds terrible.
It's
Have you taken enough drugs? Well, as we find out later, the whole thing's just like, there's nothing there. It's just a face and a TV camera. But Om, sweet Om.
You know, it's another movie that ties into this. It came out about the same time as where it has a scene exactly like this too, but it's a little more comedic. Is Sleeper, Woody Allen?
Oh yeah, Sleeper.
Where he walks into the confession booth. And it's like a little machine, you know.
As much as I hate to praise Woody Allen, that's actually a pretty decent movie.
It even has it like this: an artificial sex machine. This
the Orgasmatron.
The Orgasmatron. Even there's something similar in this. The Naked Prey, I've not reviewed it. But I will add to the list. I will add that Naked Prey to the list. So I've got a clip, a very, very few small clips from this because they were very copyright happy, but I've got this.
What's wrong? Nothing really. I just feel that I need something stronger. If you have a problem, don't hesitate to ask for assistance.
Don't hesitate to ask for assistance.
Yeah, that's when he's at his medicine cabinet.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I'm taking atrazine, but it doesn't seem strong enough. I have a hard time concentrating.
You are a true believer.
You're a true believer.
Yeah, right.
He's already getting his drugs tampered with, I think, by that point. But yeah. So I've just got a few tiny little clips. I'm afraid that's all I got. But yeah, it's I find this stuff chilling now when I look at it. I think the walls of this society, this world, in the movie are kind of closing in on us.
And a lot of these dystopian science fiction things are kind of thought experiments into just how far can you push people before they rebel.
Yeah, and the thing is, he doesn't, as I was saying, he's not I'm leading an army of rebels here. That's when they're playing with the guy's baton. He just wakes up enough to say, I want out of this.
Yeah.
This isn't good.
Yeah.
But yeah, what does it take to rebel? You know, I mean, there's every opportunity here for him to go back into it's like the Matrix, to get plugged back in.
Kind of like a psychological experiment, really, of how far can you push this before people just rebel.
I don't think they ever will rebel, man, because bread and circuses, you know.
And this is the bread, and here's the circuses.
Repeatedly throughout history.
Here's the circuses. I mean, he's got the machine.
This is the feeding the duck scene right here.
Yeah. And then there's the entertainment. So here's the equivalent of our news broadcasts, our slop entertainment. So
yeah,
he watches the porn.
I thought the very thing. Slop entertainment.
Yeah.
It's freaking AI entertainment. Why was he watching the Rodney Kinging of that dude right
porn,
there?
fake news, and violence. It's distilled.
Like,
it's distilled our entertainment down to its basics.
I don't know if you guys have done this, but this is interesting. It's not if YouTube, X, even Facebook tend to be a little tempered. Just go onto TikTok for like 2 or 3 minutes, and you really see it.
Mm-hmm.
You see the dumb videos. You see like the mindless. You only see it in TikTok. It's interesting. Like I watched some political videos, and I'm like,
because it's
a hockey player. There was a video I saw right away. It was a hockey player going to the bench, smacking Omar across the face, and it just kept repeating. And I'm like, okay, I don't like Omar at all, but it was just all the likes and comments. I'm like, is this really where we're headed?
That's what we're seeing. This is prophesizing that the entertainment
This
they're
is
showing.
why I think AI should have been banned years ago. And as a result, should be nuked from orbit. But unfortunately, here we are.
Well, one day it will be nuked from orbit, but it'll probably be an AI doing it.
You're unfortunately probably not wrong.
I mean, if you nuke it from orbit, if you nuke it from orbit, only way to be sure, right?
That's the only way.
That's right. It's the only way to be sure. Saxon violence.
Saxon violence.
Yeah, only in Western TikTok, not the Chinese one. Isn't that weird? Eh?
Yeah, the Chinese one is all about friggin' improving yourself.
Indeed. Very different messages being promoted.
And also about how great the Communist Party of China is.
Yeah, American TikTok, it's like, oh, you want to be a porno star on OnlyFans? Chinese, do you want to make a nuclear bomb out of a trash can?
That's right. And then make $1 million out of porn. Yeah, I do find this fascinating. That entertainment, Lucas just distilled modern entertainment down, and this is in 1971. It's even more relevant now. Even more. And then,
it makes it all the more insulting about how the later Star Wars movies turned out.
I like this one. There's a guy in orange over here. One guy wearing orange.
Yes.
Now that I always found fascinating. Who was he? Why did he?
I want to know what they were watching. It sounded like the sound of that scene where they're
banging.
It looked like they're watching a tennis match between two squids, because every time they moved their head, you heard. Sounded like a very moist sound. It was like
Snorty's got this is a true hazard of the modern era. There's too much sex on TV. I keep falling off.
Yeah, I wonder what the hell they were watching.
Yeah. So, but yeah, now that he's not taking the drugs, he's woken up to the fact that he can actually have tactile and physical contact with somebody. It's meaningful, and it didn't take them long. I guess it's not a long movie. They got to do that pretty quick, but so they're now they're offenders now. They're sense offenders.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sense offender.
Sense offender. They're watching Two Girls, One Cup.
Oh no!
He's looking for the Puma man.
Come on!
He's looking for the Puma.
Thanks for the visual, Tim.
I've never seen that movie. Is that Two Girls, One Cup? It's about two girls drinking a beer, right?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, you should absolutely watch it.
No.
Two Girls, Tin Cup.
It's like the Blue Waffle,
Dude, I've read the Blue Waffle story and almost threw up in my mouth.
I was kidding. I don't want to get into it.
So Sen, who we saw wearing headphones earlier, has clearly got some skills and is using them feloniously because he's fascinated with THX, and he's got rid of Lou, and he says, "I'll be your roommate. I think we could be great together." Nothing creepy about that at all, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, he has got some computer skills or something. He can do that. He can get into areas he's not allowed into. So there are people out in the system that are able to maneuver around it. But now he is taken as a felon later. But it's interesting that he's a bit of a sense offender too, but just uses it differently.
Yeah, there is that kind of undercurrent. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like the Wesley Snipes character of Demolition Man.
I'm telling you,
What,
he's
the one that
Chihuahua
blows
running
shit up,
around
but
that
it's
friggin'
the only
bulldog,
thing he's
man. That's what
arrested
he
for is
is.
tax evasion?
Yes, that's right.
He's a professional shit disturber. I hated Donald
Oh,
Sutherland in
he's
this
so
movie.
good. But he
Can't
was
stand
great.
this dude.
He was so good at that kind of character, though.
Yes.
So good.
That's the mark of a great actor, not someone who can play a hero, because that's actually fairly easy to do.
Yeah.
It's the one that plays the absolute villain that everyone loves to hate.
Yeah, I think this is where some of the CGI came in. There's sort of views of a much bigger city than were originally foreseen in the first movie, which was filmed in very short, small.
A lot of the
stages.
backdrop is added. Yeah.
Actually,
He did that in. If you watch the CG enhanced versions of Empire Strikes Back, when you're looking at Bespin, when you saw the original version of it, it had matte paintings and stuff like that in the windows.
Yeah.
In this one, or actually, no, they were actually like shuttered. But then when you watch the digitally enhanced ones, you'll see a lot of the people running around the city in the windows and stuff flying around outside. Yeah.
Not necessarily a good thing.
No, not necessarily a good thing.
I
But
like
in
the
this one, it
original.
doesn't hurt it, because it's so minimal
I
in
find
its
it's
special
better.
effects.
I like this better, yeah.
And it's interesting because I told you, Brian, last week I actually have the VHS copy of the original without the
stuff.
Watching it, there's kind of it, but there is kind of one reason why I like the original is because there's a raw, art house quality to it.
It's more raw and
Wait, you have a VHS copy that still works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, VHS tapes still work.
Well, I've got a few VHS tapes that work.
VHS tapes stop working after about 25 years.
Some still okay. I've got a few that can
maybe
play.
Hallucinating. I don't know, but it worked this week.
Maybe
I'm on these drugs that they have on the movie.
the magnetic.
Depends on how you store them.
Maybe this is all in a loop.
Just like it's just like cassettes, where
It's C3PO.
eventually the magnetic tape stops working.
Yeah, but I've got a few that still work. I've got a few.
Depends on how you store them, Pope. They're magnetic. Yeah, if you put them next
never
to
last
certain
forever.
things, they will get screwed up over time. But
I used to have to be super paranoid about that because I had a floppy disk. Yes, a 5 1/4 inch.
Cue the jokes.
Exactly.
You admit that publicly?
But I put a magnet down on one of them, and
Silas?
it erased it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you store it next to the wrong thing, it will mess it up because it is magnetic.
But VHS tapes are aging out, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Like they're not the celluloid.
So
is
am
an
I.
organic compound, so it
I'm
will not
aging out
be-
too.
That's where you get like an old school VHS copier and you just burn them to your computer.
I did all
Right.
that. Yeah.
That's what my dad did in the late '90s, right when DVD came out.
Then the DVDs stopped working.
I bought one of Fry's Electronics that I still have.
Yep.
So-
my
Anyway.
DVD burner still gets work.
So this is with THX, the drugs having worn off, he's getting a bit shaky at his job.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because some of the drugs they're feeding him are to optimize their capabilities at the job.
Yeah.
Mhm. And without
of
them,
again, why didn't they just let the robots build other robots? What's the point of that? Is this like the Matrix? They have to keep some humans plugged in to do stuff? I don't know. Did they feel it was easier to have human
remember
robots?
it's an economy too. Maybe it's
is it cheaper to have human
it's
robots?
cheaper to have the humans do it. Maybe.
In that sense. So this is hang on. I got a little clip of the mind lock. This is it. That's how I feel watching.
Yeah, them
Dallas.
guys bailed because they saw what happened to that
That's right.
160 plus in that other area, right?
Because it's only a
bailed
rod of, they
quick.
call it magnum in this, but it's clearly some kind of radioactive fuel.
Right. That's explosive, obviously.
Gives the humans something to do. Yeah. And then they have a trial, which I found extremely interesting, the trial. The way that he has a defense as well. They haven't got rid.
And he never says anything during it. Yeah.
Well, he does. No, the defense does say a few things. Inane. What's the prosecution? You know, there is an argument put back, so there is still some representation allowed. But
I
that's
mean,
not
this is obviously a Stalinist era show trial.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's argued in such weird terms, and he's not even allowed to say anything in his own defense.
That's what I meant. Yeah, he doesn't say anything.
No, he does have a defender, but it
Right,
doesn't make
he
any
does,
difference.
yeah.
So they stick him in this place, and is this the prodding scene? Yes.
Yeah.
Which I
Although,
I think
him
he kind of
having a
enjoyed
public
it.
defender actually makes him better than modern day Massachusetts.
Well, indeed. This is New York City right here.
Yeah.
The kind white's getting prodded. Anyway, shouldn't say anything about that.
And yeah, not Z3PO. Prompt criticality is instant death for anyone who's not shielded.
Right. No, they tried written this down here. So the trial, because he did say he was. He doesn't say he's not. He says they say he's clinically born, no real mother.
Right.
It's cheaper to imprison him than it is to terminate him. So pregnancy in this world is a crime.
So modern day Canada.
Hey, Bill C9's about to pass with it's been basically shoved through without any discussion. It's
now one thing we missed.
This stream might get taken down.
Right.
In Canada.
One of the things we missed was, isn't he going to be a father? I believe.
Yes, she claims she's pregnant. Of course, that's a crime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Apparently.
And it's the last time we see her in the film, too.
Well, for these people, it's a crime. Having clinically born implies there are some people who are still allowed not to be clinically born.
Yeah.
This is interesting to me, where they did all the poking and prodding, and they're obviously experimenting with controlling someone.
Mm-hmm.
They put something in him, one of those needles, put something in him that's... you hear these guys, it's like they're playing with a toy.
Well, they're turning the knobs.
Well, let's try this. Let's try this. And yeah, it's driving this guy insane. He can't control himself.
Mm-hmm. A common thing for us men. Yeah, it's frightening, but this is what again. So modern experimentation. We've had various global experimentations with things recently. We're seeing a lot of medical experimentation on younger people in various scenarios. The powers that be, if they see us as lesser, will happily prod us around and test us. And
well, they have people line up and volunteer to do it. Yeah,
I mean,
offer them money to do it. Get involved in these things.
I remember it.
Unit 731.
Yeah,
you talk about medication. I remember this asshole mayor of New York offering French fries for one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Human meat puppets. Yes, this Canadian bill, my fellow Canadian Spider-Man. This is the fourth bill the Liberals have put through in sequence. There's a surveillance bill. There's an anti-terror bill. There's a whatever bill, and then there's this one, the free speech one. They've basically then locked everything down.
And which is why, not to get political over much, but we've considered invading Canada for your own good.
Can you give us a chance to become a free republic in Alberta first before you do
I mean, it's mostly going to be Quebec and Ontario.
You know what movie you should do, Brian?
Yeah.
Canadian Bacon.
Yes.
I have it on the list. It's the one movie by Fat Marxist Fuck or whatever they called him in Team America that Fat Socialist Wiener. That's it that I can stand. It's actually a good movie.
The Invasion of Canada.
It's a good movie.
At least the hostage is pronto,
really good.
or we'll destroy Toronto.
Yeah. Well, 33 million Canadians are amassed on our border. There's nowhere else to live. That's why can't live up north. That's funny. Yeah, there's some funny stuff in that. There's the Gordon, was it that bastard Gordon Lightfoot or whatever?
And
Jan Murray.
And Canadian Spider-Man, be careful on that offer. We'll take you up on beer and burgers and Popper.
My favorite bit in that movie is when Dan Aykroyd, the trooper, stops him in the truck because it's covering all these signs. Fuck Canada. He goes, "I'm pulling you over because those are supposed to be in French as well, eh?"
I think I've told this story on the show before, but I actually got stopped by a Mountie.
Oh, you got mounted by a what?
No, we were already on the way to a funeral in Fort Kent, Maine.
Oh, look out!
Which
Fort Kent.
If you know where that is, it's the upper tip of Maine.
How about it is the farthest north you can go on the eastern seaboard? As a matter of fact, that's where Route 1 starts at. That's the
and
America's first mile.
And I took a wrong turn and ended up in Canada.
Brian, show him this real quick.
In a
hang on. I will. What am I showing him?
My coffee mug.
Oh, sorry. I thought you shared something. I was looking for
my coffee mug.
Oh,
Maine, the blockhouse.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yep.
Well, that'll soon be Canadian territory. When we invade in overwhelming force, that will be Canadian.
But I took a wrong turn and we went over the river. And I didn't know this, but we were in Canada at that point. In a van with U.S. government plates on it.
How could you tell?
Because like a quarter mile after we passed the border, Mountie actually pulled us over.
All right.
And,
before 2001, you didn't need a
it wouldn't have mattered,
passport to go there.
This is in 2011.
Yeah.
And I'm in full dress blues, and the Mountie is actually in their dress reds, and he's just like my first words out of my mouth were like, "I'm guessing one of us isn't where we're supposed to be wrong. Isn't where we're supposed to be. I'm guessing it's me."
That's what I heard Pope saying. He got mounted. I didn't hear the rest. So this is where they introduce the shell people, who are obviously outside of the system, which raises a whole load of new questions. But also, there's mention at some point in the overlay speaking of Wookiee, the term Wookiee. It mentioned. So they call them the Wookiees.
The girlfriend at one point told him, "We can leave. We can go." I believe it was an Undercity or something like that.
Yeah, there's somewhere else.
This movie, by the way, is why we refer to female Marines as Wookiees.
Because they're shell people.
Yes.
Shell dwellers. But this whole shell thing, it opens up a whole... And the fact that you eventually discover this is underground. This is an underground city.
I only realized that after watching this movie. I was like, wait a minute, that's why we call female Marines Wookiees.
Yeah. Well, what you don't get from that is, well, are there other cities? What's above ground? Is there a central control for all of this, or is it just developed this way with more localized, like Fallout? It's a vault in Fallout. What's the structure globally of this thing? You never find out any of that, which is fine, but you do find out there's something else out there that is not. It's like Dread.
There is always that question of what is actually organizing all of this, because there has to be a central authority.
There's a huge computer. And is the computer in charge? You see the computer physically.
What's wild about this is for some reason, I got a picture of him as Bruce Banner on the 70s show, The Incredible Hulk. He just wants to be left alone, and this guy will not leave him alone.
That's right. He's like a little yappy, as you said. Hang on, I've got this little clip on video for us. There it is.
Where'd you guys come from? Oh, well, it doesn't make any difference, I guess.
Donald Pleasance looks at him like he's never seen a black man before.
Right?
And Vince, I know female Marines shave. Don't ask me how I know that.
Strategically. They shave strategically. So that they don't look like an ape all over.
But I've checked.
So Yeah, we came from over there. Well, that's where the exit is. No, it isn't. We just came from there. Look, haven't you seen it? Look more closely. I love that. And then they turn around and, yeah, you're right. It's over there. And they get that they just walk out, which is kind of weird. This
into craziness.
Craziness. Yeah. This is it. Save lives, stop accidents.
That's where the Chihuahua and the Bulldog are separated. Yeah.
But it's just crazy, the crush of these people.
You'd have to be on drugs to be that in that flood and not freak out, right?
It's like being in the London Underground at Russia.
This is human cattle.
Human cattle. Yeah, if you've been in any major city subway at rush hour, that's what it's like.
That's crazy.
I have, and that's why I got the hell away from it.
So they're kind of escaping now, kind of. You don't know where to, but they're out of the prison anyway, or asylum, or whatever it was.
Don't they find the girl, what they think is the girlfriend, but it's actually
the part
an unborn child or something like that?
Yeah.
I think we might have,
There's like a reassigned name.
Yeah, reassigned name. We skipped the...
But that part freaked me out as a kid. I was like, what the hell is that? You know, anyway, go ahead.
I think we missed the part where he is reunited with her briefly, and she says she's pregnant, and then he never sees her again.
Right, they're in an open area, clearly one of those travel areas
like
they
the
have
prison,
there, and they stop and talk to each other.
So here's the computer itself. So the computer is huge. They're inside it. Now, is the computer controlling everything? Is that the central control making all the decisions? Or are there humans in charge?
No, they never answer that question, but I think it's a valid one.
This is interesting because they talk about the robots chasing them, and then the computer starts to say, well, there's a budget for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is fascinating that we've assigned a budget of X amount to THX. And if you go over that, well, we'll just quit. What he only has to do is outlast them until the budget runs up. Budget control, So everything is tightly controlled by budget, which is, I guess he thought he was making a satire on capitalism, but is it more satire on
is it cost effective to go after THX?
A completely planned economy? Which would be more socialism than capitalism.
Could it mean they have a finite amount of resources?
Indeed, and this bit is also interesting, where they stumble across these bodies, and he goes, the hologram.
Yeah, this is like a morgue they're in, right?
He says, these bodies are all completely empty. They've had all the organs taken out.
Ugh.
Interesting. Just a little extra insight into this society.
Could there? Oh, here's another.
There's the
another sci-fi movie that this could be emulating. Could this be The Island?
Well, The Island does borrow a lot of ideas from this.
Do you know The Island is not
That's a very good point.
Do you know The Island was sued because they ripped off another movie?
Really?
Yeah, and they lost. It's called Clonus Parts.
I've never heard of
Clonus Parts, the horror. Another MST.
They lost. The Island lost.
Yeah, they lost the lawsuit because they ripped off the whole plot. But it's basically the same thing, you know.
Wow.
There's an island that breeds people for organs. That's it.
No, Vicar, I said organist.
Robert Duvall, all he has to do is throw this guy to the ground and he's done.
He's done.
Knocked him out.
But that showed and we did miss the scene very early on where they had the hooded monks or nuns or whatever. So there's a religious aspect retained in this society for control, I guess. But Owen was just a picture of a TV camera and a robotic voice. That's all it is. So it's just an illusion.
What I find funny is that the androids are not all the same size.
They're not. I like the bit where the android walks into the wall. They introduce little bits of humor to the androids are actually more human than the humans. I find, which is weird. Oh, there's it reassigned. But there's a fetus being grown, and they've given that unit number to it. So Lou is gone. They've just reused her name. Well, we don't know.
That's the assumption, right?
Yeah.
T3PO just mentioned probably our most well-watched video, Colossus, the Forward Project.
The stream we did on Colossus, which has had 40,000 views or something, I think. And now, how many of those people have watched it all the way through? But that was a killer stream, which we enjoyed thoroughly.
It was a good show. I don't know why it blew up the way it did.
I think just because it's topical. I mean, artificial intelligence, dystopian global control by computer. I think it just for once we hit the zeitgeist.
Bingo bango.
Bingo bango. So that was but I enjoyed that one immensely, the Colossus stream.
No, it was a good watch, and I had never seen that movie before we did the the show on it.
Because it's quite a very, it's not that well known. It didn't have any stars in it. It was very low key cast, but chilling. Again, very prophetic. And that was in an era where they didn't have the same surveillance techniques. So now a computer like that would just have everything in lockdown.
Yeah.
Ivy, hi. Come over and say hi. The doggy's around. Come on, sweetie. What's this? I'll always tempt her
And
with
Vince
treats.
is saying 42,000 views.
Hello, you.
You better blow yourself up, or your fans are going to be ticked at you.
Right.
Double
hang
click
on.
that.
Let me just
Double-click
pause
that screen,
this.
buddy.
Pause that. Right. Hello, you. Come up here then.
Ivy.
Ivy, come on. What's this? Oh, it's tough. I can't break it. This is the toughest jerky we've ever had. Paw? You got a paw? Good girl. Who's a good girl? Now you got the food, you're going to disappear, aren't you?
Right. Boom. Gone.
You're going to go now, aren't you? Ivy, say hi. Say hi, sweetheart.
Ivy's too busy chowing, man.
Hi, sweetheart. Oh, she's a good girl. She's been very quiet. This is very good. Anyway, on. Doggy breakover.
There you go.
Davina says hi. 42,000 views on the Colossus stream. Thanks, Vince, for looking it up. Yeah, I mean, oh, you're back for more. Do you want more? What is it? Do I get kisses first?
As long as there are treats available, she will be here.
Do I get kisses first? Can I get a kiss? No.
And there's the hologram dusting off the other vehicle.
Yeah,
Blast.
you can't get in that damn vehicle, and then he blasts into the. All gone. Like, save that one for later. All done. What's this? You guys can keep talking about the movie. I'm just playing with the doggy.
Oh yeah, he roasted himself. Didn't know how to control it. Didn't even know how to start it. Had no business being in that car. But for some reason, THX 1138 is very knowledgeable about this car.
Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Anyway.
Well, that's interesting.
It's amazing.
Never shown in the movie that he's ever driven a car before.
It's amazing seeing the difference between this and like the VHS version. I know I'm bringing that up again, but just like the car chase scenes are just so raw, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A little corridor with two Matchbox cars.
Right.
And if you compare it to his next big one, which is American Graffiti, it's obvious how into cars George Lucas is.
Oh, yeah. He's a big hot rod freak.
They're meant to be going at speeds of like 240 miles per hour. And
yeah.
And I think reading about the production of it, they actually the stunt drivers did drive pretty fast to film some.
Where is this road going to, though?
Well, indeed, and we don't really know. There's a set of expressways, they call them, and they're all... But they don't appear to go... I mean, where would you go on it?
And not Z3PO, we've also done a video on the Andromeda strain.
So
that was one of the first ones we ever did.
Oh, we did Andromeda strain, yeah. Michael Crichton. I've done quite a few now.
I think that was this third or fourth episode we ever did.
Yeah, because I wanted to get into these classic sci-fi movies. We did Capricorn 1, Boy and His Dog we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Death Race 2000.
Was probably my favorite because I'm a huge Fallout nerd.
Yeah.
And it's good to see where most of that came from.
Yeah. A Boy and His Dog was good. Death Race 2000 we've done. Hello, sweetheart. What is it? I don't have any more sweet.
And of course, the first episode we ever did was Outland.
Yes, good Sean Connery. Absolutely fantastic. And we've done The Last Starfighter. We did that. They're not all down. They're all not. They're not all downbeat. You know, we do some fun ones too.
Brian, I got to bail. Take care of yourself, brother.
Okay, mate. So Joe,
good to see you, Pope. Good to see you.
We will
Jones.
be redirecting to you later. So Joe, obviously Monday night he plays games and drinks cocktails.
Yes. A little Jack Daniels, a little Corona.
Or is it the other way around?
Tonight. We're playing Wet from the PS3 days. Ruby Malone. Using bullet time photography, blowing things up with a couple of pistols and a katana.
So go
if you like Quentin Tarantino, then you'll enjoy the game I'm playing tonight. Because it looks just like a Quentin Tarantino show.
As always, brother, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Always.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself, man.
Cheers, buddy.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Good to see you guys.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye-bye. Cool. Joe's, we'll be redirecting to Joe. Check him out. And Vince and Davina and others are putting links in the chat. So if anyone here, by some bizarre reason, hasn't subscribed to Joe, go do that. And over in Rumble too, where he is as well. So where was I? I was going to say something very important. Oh yeah, the expressways. Where do they all go? I mean, there's some of them look busy, and then others are just totally empty, and they're not. They don't appear to go to other cities because there appears to be a definite end to them, as we discover when he's getting chased, of course.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Is these highways seem to go nowhere.
Yeah,
it's pretty much the Logan's Run bubble, I think.
Yeah, it is like that. It's like a self-contained city.
But at the same time, everything else in the society is meant to be hyper efficient. Why do they have roads that don't go anywhere?
Why bother if you can't go anywhere yet? I like this with the officers in service drops down when Andre gets killed. And then they've got a combination of shell dwellers and baboons out here, which attack them.
300 years in the future, and the Toronto Maves still haven't won the Stanley Cup.
That's right.
This is a joke, random joke.
It's a poster on the wall celebrating our 400th anniversary. Last cup win, 1967. That's a good joke. I like that joke. And there he is. This is where it's funny all the way after it's, oh, come back. We don't want to hurt you. We want to help you. We're not, we nothing to be afraid of. That's the message is always one of peace, but really it's authoritarian. They don't want them escaping, but they've overextended the budget. So call them off, let them go. We don't care, which I guess is why there are shell dwellers. Others have escaped, but nobody appears to have done this.
No, weirdly, what this reminded me of was Demolition Man.
Yes,
the Undercity, essentially.
Undercity, yeah. They do say, and they say to him, "Don't go up there; it's uninhabitable." Apparently, that turns out to be not true. Of course, I guess it's a bit like A Boy and His Dog.
Yeah, really.
Inside the closed area, they thought that upstairs was on the surface was deadly.
Essentially, the vault.
Yeah.
They thought it was uninhabitable.
Let me hide that. I've got one final clip because it's a fairly famous ending to this movie. It's where he goes up on the surface and finds he's in Tatooine. One of the bikes was a Triumph Bonneville, I think.
You can't see the second sun there, but
that's right. The second sun is not risen yet, but he's in Tatooine.
I love that ending.
Jake Skywalker just outside.
Yep.
Yeah, but the question is, he escapes. But now what?
Now what? Well, we'll never know, will we?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where A Boy and His Dog comes in.
Yeah, that's why I kind of hate the second two Matrix movies. Is up until they released the second one, there's endless possibilities of what Neo does next.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it just ruins it. Yeah.
Maybe Robert Duvall goes down the hill and he realizes it's a self-contained, experiment, and everybody else is living in normal society.
Well,
it's a joke. I don't know.
Well, no, it's not a joke, because I have thought that, and I think that is a possibly valid explanation. It's like I mentioned the Fallout vaults.
Right.
They're in some kind of big fucking experiment down there.
Like
I think that might be the darkest aspect of this movie is that very well may be the case.
Well, it's like that M. Night Shyamalan
This is
film
a
that
social
wasn't so
experiment.
good, but it was called The Village.
The Village, yeah, no, it was
But
okay. I mean, I guessed The Secret long before it got there.
But I mean, that's a very dark thing to do, is doing a social experiment like this with real people.
I thought there's a strong chance for me that that's what it is, that there's some giant fucking experiment going on down there. But who knows? We'll never know, which is probably. And is it in Earth? Is it planet Earth, or is it in a galaxy far, far away?
You never know.
You'll never know. I don't think there's anything.
They never do tell you.
No, there's nothing ever directly ties it to our planet Earth and our history.
At least with Logan's Run, you see Congress.
Yep,
that's true.
This.
And man, we have to get to Logan's Run before long. It's one of my favorite sci-fi.
It's on the list. It's on the list. We'll get there eventually. I'm going to lead a long life. Lots of room for movies. So yeah, a lot of movies we've mentioned that it shares things with Equilibrium. Brazil, there's a little bit of Brazil. Brazil. The same thing, especially with the media.
Including modern day Brazil.
Yep. Gattaca. Blade Runner even has got some elements of it.
I mean, Gattaca even shared, like you said, a shooting location with one of the movies.
Yeah, Logan's Run.
It's interesting. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead, mate.
It's interesting. Somebody once said that somebody once said that 12 Monkeys is basically Brazil underground.
You're not wrong about that.
Because Brazil, self-contained, underground. Maybe Duvall goes up in its disease society. They had to go underground because there was a virus. You never know, Inquiring minds want to know.
I think all those things are possible because enough is left unsaid that the wider world of this movie could have been a lot. I mean, what if Logan's Run is another self-contained part of this planet that they're on?
It's a great experiment.
Yeah.
Counterpoint. What if the rest of the world is Mad Max?
Yeah, literally anything could be out there because it seems to me it's very self-contained, this area. It's not like there's a global central control. But
I love the Logan's soundtrack.
What Robert Duvall finds when he goes up top is this.
That would be the absolute
biggest
worst
mind fuck ever. Right.
Especially
well, that's another movie we did.
After the show, I went back and watched the movie again, and yeah, that movie fucked with your brain a lot.
Yeah. So speaking of fucking with my brain, unfortunately, we are drawing to a close, and there's so many things we could have talked about in this movie. I think it deserves its own. That discussion is part of what we should do as Pope pontificates.
Yes, which if we can find a time to do it, we'll start soon because
we'll
that's something I actively want to do.
Yeah, all these themes that we mentioned in there could be discussed, and along with the other things like simulation theory and so on. Stimulation theory, that's what he was doing when he was watching that porn
Yes,
hologram.
of course. Our favorite theory.
Your favorite theory. I would like to thank everybody for taking part today. You know what? I forgot. I got to give some free memberships again.
Random question. Did you get your shutout in hockey?
I did not get my shutout, and I ended up with an 8-1 in the fantasy, so I got caught up in one thing.
Yeah, I beat that guy 9-0 2 weeks ago. I don't know if he even's fielding a team.
I don't know if he's paying attention. I like that, though. Yeah. Convincing win. Let's just send the next 5. I've just done 10. We're going to get lots of music interrupting us now. Lots of gift memberships. I thought for one horrible moment I gifted myself a free membership, which would be
redundant.
Can you hear that noise?
No.
No, okay, it's only me. I've got loud music goes along with that. You probably hear it out there. So, Pope, my friend, have you got anything you want to plug before we wrap up?
Well, like we've been saying this whole time, I'm about to start a new series on my YouTube channel. Less music related and more just general thought experiments and stuff like that, called Pope Pontificates. And obviously, 70s and Dr. Michael, you are more than welcome to join me as well. Of just interesting things that have been brought up in this chat before, like the nature of reality.
Reality doesn't exist.
Like more philosophical concepts.
I mean, what is reality?
What
is consciousness?
Well, I mean, those are things we're all going to cover. And I've written down a couple just from this stream of topics we're going to want to cover. And Soul Assassin, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I got banned again.
Banned again? Has anyone ever been banned as much?
For warning about the thing that happened to Charlie Kirk literally 12 hours before it happened.
Yep. You were a prophet then. The Pope prophesizes should be another one.
Oh man, that should be another.
Isn't that a good one?
Oh, that's another great one.
It's like you'd be like Peter Griffin, what grinds my gears? The Pope prophesizes.
Oh my God.
God, I've given these ideas away for free.
I mean, I'll still pay you. $10 is $10.
$10 is $10. So this is what's going to happen to our enemies in future. That's the way to do it.
That scene hits a whole lot different when you realize it took months to render that.
It did. Painstakingly a frame at a time. But thank you, Pope. And let's keep organizing these pontificatings.
Yeah.
I'm desperate to discuss the nature of reality on a stream for 2 hours. I really am. Honestly, that's my favorite subject. I could talk about that all day. The world at war, yes, indeed. Tim's always given me good ideas, and I try to fulfill them as fast as I can, Tim. We've got to do the Sea Wolves movie next.
Oh, the Sea Wolves is a great movie.
We're going to do that. That's the next one, I think. Michael, my friend, anything you'd like to plug? And thank you for joining us.
No, just joining your show here and there, and just doing stuff around the house and just family stuff, you know.
Cool. Family is good. You join us so well.
Casual.
Keeping it casual. It.
You saw my garage door. You know what I have to do.
I did. You blew it off.
Yeah. A bear. Bear attacked our house.
Try not to do that in future.
Well, I didn't do anything. It just, you know.
If a bear attacks you, this is what you do. That's the way to attack the bear.
I'll shave all my body hair, oil myself up, put on some shorts, do the side splits, and
indeed,
a bunch of Chinese guy in the nuts. There we go.
Or you can just do what Americans do and just buy a shotgun.
Well, I have one. Van Damme, the original metrosexual.
That's right. So, hey, my most popular shorts are Jean-Claude Van Damme ones.
Those green leggings doing splits.
Indeed, he does the splits so much. But thank you for joining my esteemed panelists. Thank you for being here. Everyone go follow them and sub to them and all that. Thank you for those who've been modding today. Vincent, Davina, D-Bud, Snort. There's a lot of people have been modding. If I miss anybody, my apologies, but I know Vincent's been working hard in the old modding for sure. But others have too. So thank you guys, and thank you for the super chat I got earlier today. And always appreciated. Okay, there's squeaky toys are out now. It's as for me, I will be on Comics Division Monday Night Meltdown later. Tomorrow night on Nick Visor's channel, Toxic Tuesday. It's a Jet Li Kiss of the Dragon is the movie tomorrow.
Nice movie.
Nice. Other stuff later in the week, but hello. Hello, who's a good girl? Who's my little girl? Hello, darling. Oh, she's such a sweetie. Next Monday's show, we'll just be doing a gaming stream again, of course, and then deliberations will be made upon what the following week should be. Otherwise, check out my channel, sub, like, watch my shorts, lots of shorts. And I will see you all again very soon. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great week. Stay well. Don't skip your meals and try to live your best life, please. Bye.
And above all else, keep on rocking.
Keep on rocking.